Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever loved someone so deeply, so honestly, that you forgot to love yourself in the process? You gave your all. You showed up every time. You forgave things you shouldn't have. You stayed when it would have been easier to leave. And even when they pushed you away, you still found a reason to hold on. You kept hoping they'd wake up and finally see your worth. But they didn't. They thought your love meant you'd never walk away. They thought they could keep treating you like a backup plan and you'd always come running. They got comfortable, arrogant even, because they believed the chase would never end. But one day, it did. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally started caring about yourself. And that's when everything changed. See, when someone's used to you chasing, your silence becomes terrifying. When someone's used to controlling you with mixed signals, your peace becomes confusing. And when someone's used to taking you for granted, your glow-up becomes their biggest regret. They didn't expect it. They didn't see it coming. But now, they feel it. They're watching your every move, hoping for a sign that you still care. They're bringing up your name in conversations they swore they'd never have. They're posting, pretending, performing. But you're gone. Not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. You outgrew the version of you that needed their attention to feel whole. This video is about that moment. That silent, powerful, life-changing moment when they realize they lost you and there's no coming back. We're going to break down the 7 undeniable signs they're running from the very thing they created, a world without you. Backed by psychology, inspired by Stoic philosophy, and wrapped in the emotional truth they were never ready to face. And before we dive in, I want you to do something bold. I want you to drop this in the comments. I stopped chasing, and I found myself instead. Let that be your declaration, your reminder that this journey isn't about them anymore, it's about you. Let's begin. Number 1, they lose control the moment you stop explaining. There comes a moment, not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet shift. It's when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop justifying your worth, when you stop over-communicating to someone who was never really listening. And that moment, that's when they lose control. See, people who want to be chased aren't really looking for love. They're looking for validation. And what better way to feel powerful than making someone question themselves for your attention? They'd leave your messages on read just long enough for you to spiral. They'd say something vague, pull away, then act surprised when you reached back out. That wasn't romance, that was a tactic. Psychologically, this is called intermittent reinforcement, a toxic behavioral pattern where someone gives you small doses of affection and attention, followed by distance to keep you hooked. It's the same technique used in gambling, unpredictable, addictive, emotionally exhausting. But here's the thing, all of it collapses the moment you stop participating. The moment you no longer feel the need to defend your feelings, they lose their leverage. The moment you stop chasing clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion, they panic. Because suddenly, they don't know what version of you they're dealing with anymore. You're no longer the emotional puppet they could pull strings on. You're grounded, centered, unbothered, and that's terrifying to someone who once fed off your instability. They don't miss the old you. They miss the version of you they could predict. The one who cared too much, who tried too hard, who felt like they had to earn love. But now, you don't explain your worth anymore. You embody it. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You've finally realized it. And now, your silence, your peace, your refusal to entertain manipulation, it all speaks volumes. Louder than your words ever could. You've reclaimed your power. You've broken the pattern, and they can feel it slipping through their fingers. Number 2, they start copying your growth, but can't keep up. After you stop chasing, something strange starts to happen. The very person who once dismissed your thoughts starts echoing them. The one who laughed at your healing journey now starts sharing quotes about self-love. Suddenly, they're posting pictures at the gym, talking about peace, sharing captions about moving on. But deep down you can feel it. It's not authentic. It's imitation. This behavior is rooted in a psychological phenomenon known as mirroring. When someone fears they're losing influence, they subconsciously begin to mimic the traits of the person they once undervalued, hoping to regain connection. It's not real change. It's reactive behavior, a performance. But here's what they don't realize. You're not where they left you. You've done the inner work. You've cried the tears, read the books, faced your demons, and built yourself back brick by brick. Your growth came from pain and purpose. Theirs comes from panic. And that's the real difference. You transformed because you needed to heal. They're pretending because they need to compete. They don't want to become better people. They just don't want to lose their grip on you. They're not afraid of your growth. They're afraid of your glow, attracting someone who truly values you. They don't miss you. They miss their access to the version of you who hadn't fully realized your worth. But now, you're not chasing validation. You're not waiting to be chosen. You've chosen you. And that energy can't be faked. They'll try to look like they've leveled up. But growth isn't aesthetic. It's energetic. And no filter, no caption, no gym selfie can replicate the inner strength you now carry. They're still running from themselves. You, on the other hand, ran straight into your truth and owned it. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." You've decided not to waste yours repeating cycles, and no mimicry can undo that decision. Number 3, they thought you'd be available forever. They didn't think you'd actually walk away. They mistook your patience for permanence, your forgiveness for permission. They saw your consistency and assumed it was a contract, that no matter what they did, you'd always be there. But the biggest shock they faced wasn't your anger, it was your absence. There's a term in psychology called loss aversion. It means people don't just fear losing something, they fear losing what they believed was guaranteed. And to them, you were that guarantee. You were their emotional home, their backup plan, their comfort zone. They thought they could take their time, explore other options, and circle back when convenient. But now they're realizing you're not just gone, you're unavailable, not cold, not bitter, just done. You didn't move on out of spite, you moved on out of survival, and that kind of departure is irreversible. It's when they see you laughing again, glowing again, surrounded by people who appreciate your energy, that's when it hits them. You weren't bluffing, you weren't playing games. You were done handing out chances to someone who treated your heart like a revolving door. They scroll through your posts with a pit in their stomach, not because you're flaunting anything, but because you're finally at peace without them. They start remembering all the times you showed up, even when you were hurting, all the texts they left unread, all the calls they didn't return, all the love they treated like an afterthought. And now, they can't reach you. Not because you blocked them, but because you've outgrown them. As Seneca wisely put it, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. You chose to live a life that doesn't revolve around someone who couldn't choose you back. You chose courage over comfort. You chose boundaries over breadcrumbs. And the hardest part for them to accept? You were never asking for too much. They were just giving too little. Number 4, they try to come back, but it doesn't feel the same. The message finally comes through. A casual, "Hey, how have you been?" Or a late night, "I've been thinking about you, but something's off." The words are familiar, but the feeling isn't. The connection that once pulled you in now feels dull. Why? Because you're no longer the same version of yourself who once hung on their every word. When someone tries to come back, it's not always love speaking. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes it's loneliness. Sometimes it's just the shock of losing access to someone who used to respond immediately. And when they reach out now, it doesn't spark butterflies. It sparks clarity. You realize their return isn't about you. It's about them, about what you used to give, about how they used to feel when you chased, when you begged, when you constantly reassured them of their worth while they barely valued yours. Psychologically, this is known as ego preservation. They aren't mourning the connection, they're mourning the loss of control. They don't miss the intimacy, they miss the attention. They don't miss loving you right, they miss being loved, despite how little they gave in return. And here's where it hits. When your self-worth evolves, your tolerance dissolves. The same effort that once made your heart race now makes you yawn. Because you see through it. You see how shallow the effort is, how empty the words are, how late the realization came. They come back expecting the old you, the forgiving you, the understanding you. But what they find is someone they don't recognize anymore. Someone grounded, someone at peace, someone who doesn't need them to feel whole anymore. Because the truth is, you healed in their silence, you rebuilt without their help. And now that they've come back, they're discovering the harshest truth of all. The door might still be there, but the version of you they knew isn't. Number 5, they thought you'd break without them. When they walked away, they assumed that would be your downfall. They expected tears that wouldn't dry, nights that wouldn't end, and a version of you that would beg for their return. They mistook their exit for your collapse. But instead of falling apart, you rose. You didn't just move on, you transformed. Not out of spite, not to get revenge, but because you realized something deeper. The only person you ever truly needed was you. That was your wake-up call. And instead of chasing what left, you turned inward. You poured your energy into your peace, your body, your goals, your spirit. You stopped waiting for closure and created purpose. Psychologically, this is called post-traumatic growth, when adversity becomes the catalyst for self-reinvention. You use the pain as fuel, not chains. While they expected you to spiral, you were building momentum. Quietly, relentlessly, authentically. Now, they're watching. Maybe through stories, maybe through mutual friends, maybe just through the shift in energy. And what they see scares them, because they don't see the broken version of you they expected. They see someone flourishing, someone glowing, someone who doesn't just look happy, but is happy. Without them, they thought they were irreplaceable, that your world revolved around them. But now they're witnessing the harsh reality. You were never orbiting them. You were just temporarily distracted from your own light. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. And you did exactly that. You decided to rise, to stop settling, to choose growth over grief. And now, the life they thought would crumble is the one they secretly wish they could be part of. But the saddest part for them? They can't return to this version of you, because this version doesn't look back. This version remembers the silence, the disrespect, the inconsistency. and this version has learned. Some people lose access to you permanently. Number 6. They realize they don't even know the new you anymore. Time has passed, but they still remember the version of you that tolerated crumbs, that lowered your voice just to keep the peace, that bent over backwards just to be seen. That version doesn't exist anymore. That person was forged in confusion, pain, and low self-worth. But the fire didn't destroy you. It refined you. And now, when they look at you, your choices, your peace, your presence, it doesn't match the memory they've clung to. They try to re-enter like nothing's changed. A casual "hey," a late-night message, a birthday text. They're testing the waters, expecting the same softness they once exploited. But what they don't realize is, you've outgrown their language. Their games no longer speak to the evolved you. You don't tolerate the same things. You don't crave their approval. You don't ache for their attention. Your silence isn't a strategy. It's a standard. This is what psychologists refer to as an identity shift. It happens when your internal beliefs, values, and vision for yourself radically evolve. Your patterns break. Your perspective widens. Your nervous system calms. And that shift, it becomes irreversible. You no longer respond from a place of lack. You operate from a place of power. They don't know how to navigate this version of you, because this version has boundaries. This version doesn't flinch when they disappear. This version has dreams they're not part of. And that's the gut punch. They don't even recognize you anymore, because you're no longer the one waiting. Now, you're the one walking. As Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." You stopped wasting your time being someone you're not. You reclaimed your identity, your purpose, your path. And now, you're unrecognizable in the most beautiful way. Let them sit with the version of you they lost. You're too busy building the one they'll never meet again. Number 7. They're now haunted by the same silence they used to weaponize. Remember when they gave you silence to hurt you, ghosted you to get power, ignored you to make you question your worth? Now they're getting a taste of their own medicine. But it's not revenge. It's a reflection. Because when your silence comes from healing, not hurt, it echoes, and it stays with them. They don't admit it, but they check on you. They wonder if you still care. They hope you'll reach out. But now, they're the ones stuck in overthinking. They're the ones questioning. They're the ones chasing internally. You reclaimed your silence, and now it speaks louder than your love ever did. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You didn't become cold. You became clear. Let them run. Let them overthink. Let them feel the weight of the chase they once demanded. You're not bitter. You're better. You're not waiting. You're walking. You're not explaining. You're evolving. The chase is over, and now they're the one lost in the maze they created. You gave them access. You gave them love. You gave them chances. And now you've given yourself something far greater, freedom. If this message hit home, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more power-packed content every week, and drop your affirmation in the comments. Let's build a community of strength, clarity, and emotional freedom. Because healing isn't about revenge, it's about rising. And you, my friend, are rising beyond what they ever expected. Subscribe, level up, and never chase again.